Welcome back. We found him wandering around the parking lot because he missed his flight. Bob Just, still on the West Coast. Not only lives in New York City, but he's still out here doing a little hometown visiting. He's a political commentator, founder of Concerned Families, writer for Fox News, American Thinker, and World Net Daily, or WND. A couple of websites, democratsforamerica.com, and then his other site, bobjust.com. And he's often, when we've had him on the program, talked about an article he wrote over 25 years ago, Fascism, Corruption, and My Democratic Party, which now, I understand, World Net Daily has chosen to republish the column. Why?
Yeah, it's quite an honor. And
why?
The editor-in-chief wrote
why?
Editorial. It's 25th anniversary, and as they said in the editorial introduction, the editor introduction, that it was prophetic. And the interesting thing, Perry, with everything breaking now with the corruption in Washington and the undermining of the Trump administration and all of the things that are coming out, and of course my party's deny, 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 because that's what the hard left does. They will never confess. They will never apologize, because that's part of their game, is to get us to doubt what we see. And what we see is corruption, outrageous corruption. This is predicting that 25 years ago. But the reason I wrote it, of course I wrote it for the public to read, but I emailed it to all the Democrat senators. And I was trying to reach old moderate senators that names you'll know, like Senator Lieberman and Senator Moynihan, to try to get them to look at this and say, if we don't push back, I mean with a press conference, with an all-points bulletin alarm, this, and I say in the article that it is practically mathematical that the Marxist left will take over the party, and we are living that now. So I've gotten interesting response from people who read it.
Okay, so you were warning people 25 years ago that the Democratic Party would go harder left.
Hard left.
Hard left. Socialist left.
Yeah, I called them new fascists because at the time, if you said socialist or communist, people would turn off. You know, just the way if I were a Republican and blew the whistle on my party, on the Democratic Party, people would turn off. But the fact that I'm a lifelong Democrat, I actually even ran for office as a Democrat, you know, gives me credibility. So that's the issue. Is this what makes this article prescient now? Why people should read a 25-year-old article? Very simple, and I've been saying it with you on the air for years. If you have Democrat family, Democrat friends that you've not been able to persuade, make it a mission to get them to read this article, because it's hard to deny something someone said 25 years ago that literally predicts the what I call political road rage of the left. And you probably know Victor Davis Hanson, who's, you know, nationally famous and highly admired, wrote a column just in the last few weeks called "The Roots of Democrat Rage," of the rage of the left. These are broken children. The message of the article, I say for pastors listening, I know there are many, Christians in general, but pastors in particular, the message of this article is forgive, understand the left. The left is, we're talking the leftist leadership that took over our party, but they have a lot of support. They're broken children, Perry. They had broken childhoods, and they're angry, and they want a kind of revenge, and they seek the political platform to establish utopia. I mean, they want the love they never got as children. So they think the government can love them. And as you and I said a couple of weeks ago, the government can't love you because love is self-sacrificial. So the government doesn't sacrifice itself. It sacrifices you for me and me for you. It takes money from you and gives it to me, or vice versa. It doesn't sacrifice itself. So when people like this take over the American government, as they did, as we saw in the last 4 years under Biden, what happens is massive dysfunctionality and an undermining of the whole order of American freedom. And thank God we have a Trump revival going on.
Okay, so In the meantime, they've been exposed, and they're splitting their own base, and they're ending up being a group that is smaller than what they had when they started, because there for a while they had all the Democrats with them. Now they don't.
Now they don't. The danger is that if people don't understand what's actually happened to the party leadership, a takeover.
Right.
If voters don't understand that, they'll be sucked into the accusations that you Republicans, you don't care about the people. You're taking away health care. You're accusation. That's how the left works.
Okay.
So, and Republicans start backpedaling, and the average Democrat thinks, well, I didn't like that they did this, but those Republicans, they've been doing this for a long time. And part of the strategy is accusation, plausible accusation, whatever little mustard seed, whatever little grain of legitimacy they can get, they accuse. And the other thing is they never admit anything. They never apologize. They never say, oh, gosh, you were right. We did this. We undermined Trump. We did it. I'm sorry. You'll never see that. That's a strategy because the average American is fair-minded, whether they're Democrats or Republicans. We're fair-minded. And we think if there's a dispute over something essential of a wrongdoing, we naturally think at some point the other side, the side that was wrong, right, that wronged, will admit it. Okay. I mean, we think that moment's going to come. Politically speaking, it's never going to come.
Okay.
From the hard left.
We're going to run out of time here fast, but let me just come down to something. I had the late Dr. Lamero on quite a bit. He wrote several books about this. And as the left continues to implode and what remains is a really hardcore left, socialist, communist, whatever, fascist, you can put all those terms over there. In the meantime, even the Republican Party is splitting, and there are three. The Democrat Party is splitting into two, the hard left and the remaining left. The Republican Party seems to be splitting into three, the hard right, the sensible right, common sense right, and then I would call the kind of the established right, and they're breaking into three groups. At the end of the day, the two main parties are tremendously fractured, and what's left in the middle are a lot of people trying to figure out which one they want to be a part of and which one they believe. In the meantime, to your point, the hard left, everything, and this is a big statement for me to say, this is a 30,000-foot view thing. But just about every problem we're dealing with in America today, from transgenderism to abortion to crazy to all the stuff, schools, education, money, rioting, all come from the left. All these problems came from the left trying to find something that they could vent their anger on and divide us over. Everything that we're dealing with, we don't see the people on the right out burning things and shooting things and killing things.
We need to understand that their reasons are lies, okay? They may not know they're lying, but they're lies they've accepted. They can give you a million reasons. You listed some of them. They can give you a million reasons why they have been wronged and you're the reason they're unhappy. If you haven't been loved when you're a child, if you've been broken, you are looking for love, desperately looking for love, and you tend to want things to go your way because that's when you feel comfortable, that's when you feel safe. And when someone like you confronts me, if I'm a leftist, I feel that as you're not loving me, which for Christians is a problem, right? Okay. Because we want to love our neighbor.
Okay, so here we are today. It's been exposed. But today, America seems to be waking up to both sides. And almost the hypocrisy of both sides. It seems to me that the left has hit a wall right now, and the wall is Donald Trump. But they haven't retreated from the wall. They're just hitting it harder and harder and harder. Where do you think this is going to go?
Well, the first thing we have to understand is both sides are not guilty. It's not an equal thing, okay? If I build a house, and I'm done with the house, and you help me hang the front door, you didn't build the house with me.
Okay.
They're not equal. Okay. You hung the door with me. That's what Republicans have to understand and have to listen to Democrats like me is you're in a cold civil war. I predicted this in the article. I'm told the WorldNet Daily said in their editorial introduction that it was the first time that cold civil war had been used on the internet. And I was emailed years ago by someone who said, did I know that I was the first person to use it? You know, Dennis Prager, famous talk show host, used to always say, the left is waging civil war on the right, and the right is not fighting. The left's methodology, I have very little patience with you Republicans divided over this and this and this and this. And, you know, the current scandal with the sexual predator, or Weinstein, or whatever his name is. Keep your eye on the ball. The ball is, my party has been taken over by people that if you allow them to remain in power, they will destroy the country. We got a taste of that in the Obama era, beginning in the Obama era, well, beginning in the Clinton era. That's what my article is about, because it was written in July of 2000, so 25 years ago. And I say in the article, don't think this is about the Clintons. This is about the people who have taken over the party. I said, when the Clintons are done, there'll be someone else to step in, and that was 8 years before Barack Obama, before he literally ran for president. All right, so the division is one of the left's methodologies. Anything they can get you Republicans to do to squabble and forget that you're dealing with a lion outside your gate that is seeking to devour you and your freedom and your family in multiple ways that you named earlier.
No, I totally get that, and I'm like you. I get frustrated because we're arguing and dividing over stupid things.
I've heard you for years talking about that, and you used to try to lead the Oregon Republican Party in that direction. I really say this because it's a personal. First of all, it's true. I've been saying it for 25 years. Republicans, you need to understand Democrats. You Republicans who have Democrat friends, you need to help them by showing them this article. Not in an intellectual sense. That's not the point. Help them to understand that a Democrat predicted this 25 years ago.
So what's a cold civil war?
Well, let me just read you, because this is the ending of the article, and people will find it interesting. Now, I'm quoting Newsweek, all right? Listen to this. This is Newsweek talking, and then I go into the end of the article and the warning to Americans and to Democrats and Republicans. This is Newsweek talking. The failure of Marxist systems throughout the world not noticeably dimmed the allure of left-wing politics for American academics. We're talking about the PC, the wokeness on the college campuses. This is, again, 25 years ago. Even today, says David Littlejohn of Berkeley Graduate School Literature, an overwhelming proportion of our courses, now listen to this, are taught by people who really hate the system. Your colleges have professors, now controlled by professors who hate the America you love. Now listen to what I say. Hate the system. I'm quoting them. Hate the system? What if such people got completely control of one of our two major parties? I say they are very close to doing it. But more, let's say they succeed. What if these new fascists, that's what I'm calling them in this article, what if these new fascists go on to corrupt our military, our police, our courts, and even our Congress and our governmental agencies with the same anti-American ethic? If that happens, then by any analysis, we will no longer have a culture war in America, but rather a cold civil war, ready to heat up the moment government establishes laws that tyrannize the American conscience. Now, we have just lived through an era where our conscience has been tyrannized. People have said something that is a lie is true, and they've looked straight in your face and said, either you kneel before this lie, or we will persecute you. It's called woke.
It's called...
and many other things.
Parents are domestic terrorists for going to a school board meeting. All right, we'll take a quick break. DemocratsForAmerica.com, BobJust.com, where you can get a copy of this article. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Bob just back with us. We're talking about his article now that's been republished in the World Net Daily. It's called Fascism, Corruption in My Democratic Party. 25 years ago he wrote this and still getting comments, and it pretty much tells us a lot where we are and what we're facing with. Part of this thing that's so interesting to me, Bob, is that I have constantly said on the air, the Democrats get an A in something. Maybe even an A+.
You get an A in lying.
No.
A+. Democrat leadership is
They get an A in blaming us for what they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
And they're very successful at it.
Very.
Okay.
Because they have so much media influence.
So I understand what you're saying as to why they do what they do, because they're broken children. I get the connection. But let me ask you this. Are we also in somewhat of a catch-22 situation here? You're asking us to tell them that they're wrong when their mindset is to never listen to anything that would suggest that they're wrong. So we're in a catch-22 situation. If their mindset and their heart and their soul and their thinking is never accept anything from the right because it's wrong, then us trying to witness to them would be seen of that infringement, and they just tell you, they just blow you off.
Well, that's why we have to do it with love. And now, remember, we're talking about two different things. The leadership is what, as a Democrat, I want this Marxist leadership out of power. My heart is to reach rank-and-file Democrats. Listen, I got an email from a Tom McCorkill, and I mention his name because he wants to write, quote, my article. This is an email I just got, and I'll read you an older one later. But he wrote this email, said, I am a Republican. He's going to write an article, a column for American Thinker. In fact, he's already a writer there, so you can look him up at American Thinker. He says, I am a Republican. My sister is a lifelong Democrat. For years, I asked her, when will you Democrats take back control of your party? She could not or would not answer, and not because she was a radical. She was just a dedicated Democrat. It's brand loyalty. I am good, but this is something the Democrats do. If you're a Democrat, you're good. If you're with us, you're good. They're evil. So a lot of people listen to that, and they don't have time to dig into it. I mean, they don't do it professionally the way we do. And so they think, I'm good, I'm a Democrat. And they are persuaded to vote Democrat no matter what. My mother was like that. Literally said she wouldn't have a Republican under her roof. She votes Democrat. She never pays attention to politics, to vote Democrat. That's why you can reach these friends if they have any light in them and say, this guy wrote this article 25 years ago predicting what's happening. Now listen to what World Net Daily said in their editor opening. A longtime Democrat, but the good kind, Bob Just, he laid out a vivid and prophetic description of exactly where the Democratic Party is headed, into hatred, corruption, and a growing totalitarian obsession with party power at all costs. So and then they go on to talk about using the phrase cold civil war. So I just am urging Democrats, I'm urging Christians who are Republican or Democrat to read this article and give it to people you love who are stuck on brand loyalty, don't have the time to pay attention, or play them this show. Email them the link to this conversation. But help them understand that they can't vote Democrat anymore until the party is revived, until the party becomes an American party. I've been writing for years. I wrote a column, My Un-American Democratic Party. We don't have a choice anymore, everyone. We don't have a choice. It's not a choice. Oh, I think I'll vote Democrat or Republican. No, it's not a choice. If you love this country, if you believe in under God America, and you believe in the Constitution and believe in the Declaration of Independence, which we're celebrating our 250th anniversary this whole year, if you believe in those things, be proactive. You have a tool in your kit now, this show or this column or both, and reach out to your friends and say, this will give you hope, because it'll help you to understand what's happened to your party and how you can help it by voting for Republicans until the Democrats come back to being a pro-American party.
One problem now, big one. Okay. All of their efforts culminated during started, as you say, back to Clinton, then it goes to President Obama, and then President Biden. They lost to Trump in 2016. They take it back with Biden, highly questionable whether or not that was legal or not. Then Trump takes it back with the largest win number in presidential political history.
Americans woke up. Yeah.
Okay. Two attempts to impeach him, 46 potential indictments just this term, and there he is. He beat him. It seemed like to me, they have no leadership, nothing's going on, the wheels are off their little wagon.
They are, but they're already making motions to how they can recover by winning back the blue-collar vote. Look, they're very clever, these people. They're very clever. They know the game they're playing. That's their great advantage over us. They know the game they're playing. If you read Alinsky, they all know that the strategy is you accuse, you accuse, you accuse, you focus on power, taking territory, taking territory. They're not interested in your opinions. I'm talking about the hard leadership. I'm talking about the leadership. That's why you can't vote for the party until they remove that leadership. So they know the game they're playing. And I mean, I'm a voting Republican. I've been voting Republican for years, obviously, because I follow my own advice. Democrats can't vote Democrat. But the point is, they will never stop until we start calling them what they are. Even President Trump, with his steel spine, right? I mean, especially President Trump with his steel spine. He started calling them communists in the campaign. He literally started saying, "Take that seriously," because that's what they are. What is communism? It's political atheism. The essence of it is they are against God. All right, they do not believe in God. When communism takes over countries, the first thing they do is persecute Christians, destroy the church. This is history. It's everywhere.
Okay. So I'm almost out of time.
Yeah, I know.
This isn't the late Bob Just 3-hour talk show. Okay.
My old show.
But isn't it a Romans 1 thing? Aren't we to the point where warning, 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 let them go?
Yeah. No, let me
I got
speak
30
to
seconds.
that.
Sorry.
Okay. Well, the core reference to what you just said is the word delusion, that God will release people in rebellion. God will release them into their own rebellion, and they go deeper and deeper into delusion. And that will happen to the leadership if we let them, of my party. They go deeper and deeper into that illusion. And I think it's really a desperate situation, only because they will never admit they're wrong.
Okay.
So we must vote Republican.
Go to bobjust.com and pull up the article, read it, and share it. It's called Fascism, Corruption in My Democratic Party, written 25 years ago, but there it is. It's resurfaced and been republished by WND. Bobjust.com, you can get it there and download it and send it to your family and friends and loved ones and those who you'd like to see rescued.
Yes, amen.
We'll see you next time.